Welcome, welcome. Have a seat, have a seat. I saved you a spot, as always. So, how was work? Hopefully it wasn't too hard on you. In any case, let's relax now. You have anything in mind you want to have for dinner? Or maybe a drink? I am having some coffee right now, which is, wouldn't be that good for a nighttime drink. But, it's the weekends. Anyway, so as you may know, it was my birthday this week. I am now 20 plus years old. Now that I'm 20 plus years old, I thought I wanted to share some of the things I've learned after turning 20. So, here are 20 lessons I've learned in 20 years. Number 1. Not everyone is gonna stay in your life. And what I mean by this is that not every relationship will last a lifetime. Everyone will come and go in your life, whether that's friends, lovers, sometimes even family. This could be because of a breakup, a fight, or sometimes you just stop talking to each other, which happens, and that's fine. It's normal. When there's how people move on with their interests. They may have interests in other things different from yours, and sometimes you just don't click anymore. But it doesn't always mean your relationship with them was bad either. Maybe even when the time is right, you might even be able to reconnect with them. Which brings me to my next point. Some people aren't worth fighting for. If your previous relationship was that bad for both parties, it's okay to let go. Sometimes you even have to, honestly. I grew up in a very tight-knit relationship with the people around me, so for me, when someone leaves, it was hard for me to accept that they're gone. But sometimes when you try to reconnect with those people, it just ends up hurting you more, or hurting the both of you even. So as painful as it is best to move on. You can always cherish the good times you had with them, of course, but also always remember what made the two of you leave in the first place. It's a bitter truth, but you'll have to accept it. The third thing that I want to talk about is you are going to have fights. There are times in relationships when the two of you, or maybe a group, are going to fight. Bickering, rambling, it happens, But it doesn't ultimately mean you're going to lose them. Sometimes fighting can make your bond stronger even. Because, you'll understand the other person's what they're going through and stuff like that. But that's only when the group acknowledges the mistakes they talk about. Or they acknowledge their mistakes and talk it through with each other. Not by making a call-out post. And definitely not by spreading rumors. Number 4. Recognize your mistakes, apologize, move on. We've all made mistakes. I know that. We all know that. Sometimes the hardest thing we can do is admit our fault. But if you do want to move on and be a better person, you have to be able to recognize your mistake and then apologize and then move on. And only when you stop repeating your mistakes, that's when you know you're truly outgrown your past mistakes. Number 5. Time is a healer. When you're hurt, when you're really hurt, it could feel like nothing matters at the time being. Feels like you're in a stagnant time space, but that is not true. That deadline you're working towards, you'll pass it eventually. All the hard work, pain, suffering, it will all pass in time. You just gotta be patient. And remember when you were really happy that one time? That time will come back, maybe in a different form, but it will come back. So chase that happiness. Be patient. And then number 6, there is no rush. I know that sounds rather impossible, especially if you live in a fast-paced city or environment. But in life, really, there is no rush. If you really think about it, there is no rush in anything. There are still so much things to do, and that can be overwhelming at times. But there is no rush to finishing it. There are people who take their first university degrees way when they're much older. And yeah, you just gotta take as much time as you need, and sometimes those opportunities will only come later in life anyways. And let your body and mind wander naturally. You'll get to your goal eventually, even if it does take longer than most people, but you'll get there eventually. And then our 7th lesson, just make it first. Just make it first, you can make it better next time. I talked about this last stream. Sometimes the more you stall on doing something, you'll just end up not doing it. I know I just said that there isn't a rush to doing things, but there are also some things in life that, could be just done now. In a way. Oh my goodness, how am I making this sense? If you really want to start doing something, you just gotta really do it. It may be bad, it might even look really bad, but sooner or later, once you realize what you can improve on, then you can start making better art from there. Whether it's art, drawing, music, movies, make it bad first. You can always fix it later. You can always improve. And then our 8th lesson, social media is fake. I know a lot of people say that, but how many Instagram influencers you actually see that they edit how your body looks? And sometimes you can't even tell, especially when there's AI now, right? Sure, some people do look the way they are effortlessly, but that doesn't mean you have to follow them either. Your body has its own way of growing, metabolizing. So don't compare yourself to others. It'll just make you even more sick, honestly. Which brings me to my next point. You are human. You are human. Wouldn't that be enough? Your features are what makes you human. You have, maybe you have thick skin, or maybe hairy body. You're all organic. You're like your peers. You look like someone you see passing the street. And that's normal, right? Lifelike. I'm sounding like an alien right now. But, you're alive because you're you. You'll look at other people in your life and realize they're also so human. And so are you. They're not... You are not pixels on a screen. You're you. Am I making sense? Alright, halfway there. Number 10. Be kind. But also don't take everything too seriously. It's a thing, When people always try to strive to be kind, they always try to, and they always end up kind of taking it way too seriously. Even the tiniest bit of mistake can be something to call out for. But obviously, yes, you need to prioritize being kind. Yes, okay, that's obvious. You always need to try to understand someone's side of the story. But you also don't need to take things way too seriously, You need to know when is something a joke, when something is meant to be serious. And, some people might not even be able to do that, to differentiate that. But as long as the joke itself isn't actually hurting anybody, you shouldn't take it too seriously, right? You don't need to be so hyper vigilant with everything around you. Just relax, okay? Really, it really is not that deep sometimes. Alright, next, Number 11. Lesson number 11. I feel like I feel like a My Little Pony episode. My friendship lessons. Lesson number 11. Not everything needs to make sense. This is a bit of a tangent, really. A bit of a tangent, but I feel like it's kind of something that's important. Like I said before, don't take anything too seriously. So, because how do I say this? Because not everything needs to make sense, you know? Some movies have deeper meanings and secrets hiding in each pixel. But there are also movies that just doesn't make sense, and that's okay. Sometimes there doesn't need to be a meaning. Sometimes something can just exist for fun. And you just gotta have fun. That's the only meaning there is, probably. Number 12. Be experimental. Be experimental. Be experimental. What I mainly want to talk about when it comes to being experimental is fashion, really. But this can also count as any other piece of media you try to engage in. For me specifically, I struggle with trying to find one specific look when it comes to fashion. This is my own experience. I have done androgynous styles like the one I'm wearing now. I've done goth, surprisingly. I've done jirai, I've done streetwear, etc, etc. I've tried a bunch of different styles, but I never feel like I fit in any of them, which was why I fully gave up on quote-unquote trying to fit in, you know? If a piece of clothing fits me, then it's a part of my wardrobe, you know? Like if I see something that looks cute, I'm gonna get it and I'm gonna wear it even if it doesn't fit me all that much, you know? Like my wardrobe is very versatile. So I don't call it jirai, I don't call it street, I just call it as my style. The Shoya style, you know? Number 13. Don't be afraid to show your interests. There is always going to be a community there for you. I started embracing my quote-unquote weirdness when I entered uni, actually. I got to share my passion of anime and VTuber because I had a community with me. And ever since then, I was even braver to show who I am in public, you know? Whether it's oshikatsu, fashion, or collections, you shouldn't be afraid to show them to the world. And if any normies start talking shit, just remember that they're not even invited to the party. If anything, they're the outcasts here. Why are you why are you trying to freaking trend hop on a specific culture that you already know is weird to you, you know? Number 14. Don't ignore, but take breaks. So this one's diving a bit more into politic talk and whatever's going on in the world right now. When it comes to that, I know a lot can be extremely tiring. Everyone is expecting you to choose a path per se, to always speak up for the oppressed. While that is true, but taking breaks from it is also valid. You think of it like this, right? You can't always cheer for them if you're already especially tired. You are bombarded with a bunch of different bad news, left and right, doom scrolling per se. In the end, you'll just tire yourself out and stop altogether, which isn't what you want, right? It's not the main motivation to stop, right? You still want to help them, then it is also wise to take breaks. So yeah, you don't it's not to say that you're stopping on supporting people. You're just trying to take a break, or when you are starting to feel better, and then you can be even louder now that you've taken that well-deserved break. Alright, next, we're almost at the end. Number 15, listen to your body. If your body is tired, then take a break. If your body is hungry, then eat. If you ignore it, it won't just harm you now, it could also harm you in the future as well. There are many medical consequences if you ignore your body, which just makes sense, really. Listen, I'm not a doctor, okay? So, like, I can't really tell you what specific medical consequences will happen to you in the future. But you could have, if you like skip dinner or like skip food entirely, you will have a lot of like internal struggles, like stomach problems and whatnot. So just eat, you know, just eat when you're tired, when you're hungry, or sleep when you're tired. Your body is what moves you, right? So if you want to keep working, you're definitely going to have to rest. You need to know when to rest. And then on the 16th point, we just need to keep going. These titles are kind of getting a little hard to understand, but hear me out. Feel like you've took a wrong path in life, regretted not choosing the path you knew would have been more beneficial. I've been there. I could have been a psychologist, but I chose to be an artist in the end. Why? Even now I'm not sure. Sometimes I wished I took that psychologist route, but in the end, you just gotta keep going. I already chose being an artist, and might as well keep going. You can feel regret, but you still need to keep going in life, you know? You'll find out what you're meant to do eventually, in the end. And then number 17, we're almost there, we're almost done. Jingle jingle, pay attention. Do it scared. I'm going to be honest, streaming scares me. Making content scares me because, you know, the chances of seeing like a bad comment or like, you know, online threats or whatever. Like the fear of like messing on stage. But do I still do it? Yeah, because I've always wanted to thrive as a content creator. So here I am, doing it scared. And the results? I've gained subscribers and supporters very, very steadily. Is it fast? No, but am I making a difference in life? Probably. And that's what matters. Do it scared, but only if you really want to. And then number 18, we're close to the end. Be eager to learn. Sometimes you're gonna think you've learned everything in life, but really there are so much more you could learn. You're going to be wrong a couple of times in life, and that's fine. You learn something from it. Don't be afraid to be wrong, and don't shame others for being wrong either. There's so much to learn and so much to do. But like, isn't that what makes it so exciting? And then number 19, don't dwell on the past. In the current age of the internet, I see a lot of people who love to bring back someone's past mistakes. And to that, I ask, is the person still doing that now? Let's say someone said something horrible 3 years ago. You see them saying those horrible things again now? Or have they changed? You really should not try to engage in a drama. Don't love the drama, you know? And lastly, number 20, have fun. Play those games you want to play. Try that cute cafe you saw pass by your house one time. Don't let other people dictate you. Don't let other people dictate what you want to do in life. You have full autonomy of your own life, and most importantly, have fun with it. Maybe someone is saying you're bad at playing that game you really like, and that hurts a lot. I get it. But you had fun playing it the way you did, right? I worded that weirdly there, but you had fun playing it, right? Even if they say you're playing it quote unquote wrong, but you had fun playing it. So keep playing it the way you did. you're not playing it for them. You're playing it for yourself. Plus, are they like gonna monitor you every second when you play your game? If not, then just keep at it. You'll get better as you go anyways. Okay, that's all 20... Oh goodness, sorry. That's all 20 lessons in life that I've learned after turning 20. I'm not gonna lie, that took a while. But yeah, those are some stuff I've personally learned. Maybe there are a few you might not agree with, and that's fine, you know? There's still a long way for me to go, and a lot to learn. Maybe I'll even make another one of these when I hit 30. Alright, anyways, you done with your food? You done with your drinks? Alright, getting late now. We should bounce. And don't worry, today's on me. Birthday treat. With that being said, I'll see you back in office next week. See ya! See you. Stay safe on the way home. Bye bye!